Welcome, Badass Manifester. I am so glad you are here. I'm your host and head coach, Ashley Gordon, master mindset and manifestation biz expert, founder of the Quantum Coaching certification, and multiple six-figure entrepreneur obsessed with empowering you to create quantum leaps in your energy, your life, and your business. This is the show to help you make magic your everyday normal, where the ripple effect is real and the guest experts are world class. My mission is to power your conscious and subconscious mind with manifestation teachings, business tools, and coaching techniques to put your potential into action. Consider this your weekly up level. Are you ready for quantum transformation? Let's do this. Hello, Badass Manifestors. Today, I want to talk about something taboo. And what I mean by taboo is I just find it so interesting. I find it so interesting for those of you who watch period shows or period movies like Bridgerton, for example. I am Bridgerton obsessed. I look at how women were suppressed and people were suppressed. It was taboo to be in a same-sex relationship, and it was taboo to talk about sex. They didn't even tell their daughters how to have sex on their wedding nights. So like you're going into your wedding night and you're like, oh, I have a vagina. Oh my gosh, this is so weird. Like they don't know about their own bodies. And what I think is so interesting and like enlightening about that is seeing how far we've come, but also seeing how much further we have to go in that realm of taboo topics. Because what I find so interesting, and I'm going to give you a little behind the scenes of the Badass Manifestor podcast, because we look at what you listen to. We look at what you click on the most, what you listen all the way through to, what works, what doesn't work, because I want to cater this podcast to you. And in our research, what we have found is that the most provocative, sexy, alluring topics and titles are what you want to listen to the most. And the things that say like unfuck yourself or anything that has a curse word in it does amazingly well, which I find so interesting because I don't know about you, but I was taught not to curse, and I was taught don't be too much, and I was taught to fit the mold. And I think now more than ever, we are realizing that when we try to fit the mold, we don't stand out. When we try to fit the mold, we actually dim our light. And when we try to fit the mold, we actually blend in with the crowd. And if you have a business, if you have a podcast, if you are putting yourself out there in any sense of the word of visibility, no matter what it is, fitting the mold is no longer the way. What is the way is embracing your quirk, your kink, your weirdness, your coolness, embracing the things that make you you. And I remember as I was younger thinking about trying to be proper all the time and aesthetically pleasing and presenting my best self all the time, which I think is a good quality, and also there's something to being raw and real and authentic and bold. And I think we tend to lean into hiding our boldness and the things that make us unique because there's a fear that I won't be accepted or I'll be rejected or I'll be embarrassed or no one's going to like me, right? We've talked about this so many times. But what I think is so interesting and like looking at what does the best for us are all the things that actually seem really out of the box. And so when you're creating a brand or when you're creating your coaching business or when you're creating your offers, thinking of names and marketing strategies that are a little bit out there, that are a little bit out of the box, and giving yourself permission to being that bold or being that loud or being that person. And there is something to allowing yourself to be seen in that way, because let's be real, in today's crowded digital world, marketing, it can feel like a game of imitation, right? Everyone is following the same trends, using the same tactics, speaking the same voice, but what I want to propose to you is, what if we flipped the script and did things differently? What if we broke free from the mold and created marketing that wasn't just about selling, but it was about inspiring through your uniqueness, through the voice that you've wanted to hold back, the voice that you question, should I share this? Should I post this? Should I express this? The answer is usually yes, because that is where the true impact happens. When your message isn't just noise in the marketplace, but a breath of fresh air. When you gravitate to someone that you see online, they get your attention because they're so authentic. They're so bold. They're actually saying the things that everyone is thinking but not saying because they're too afraid to say it. Doing marketing differently means ditching the cookie cutter approaches and showing up as the most genuine, real version of yourself so your audience can see that real you behind the scenes. And I used to think that meant sharing every aspect of my life, but it's not really about that. It's about connecting with some stories and things that you've been through. It's about connecting with your vulnerabilities and innovation, right? When you step into your unique voice as a leader, you stand out in a way that resonates very, very deeply with others. And the most powerful marketing, it inspires you to think differently. So how can the same old watered down version inspire you to think differently? It actually can't, right? The best, most powerful marketing are the things that you consume that make you feel something and to believe that there is a change that's possible for you. And when you show up with a message that breaks the mold, you're not just selling a product or a service. You are sparking a freaking movement. Don't you want to spark a movement? Right? We don't just want to do the bare minimum. We want to move people to take action, right? You're telling your audience, you don't have to follow the rules. That's what I'm telling you right now. You don't have to follow the rules. And I honestly don't like the word audience. I like the word community, right? We're creating a community. We're creating a movement. You can create your own path. That's what you're telling people. That's the kind of marketing that doesn't just grow a business. That's the kind of marketing that transforms lives. And that's the business we're in. Transformation, transforming lives. By breaking the mold, you become a leader. Leaders don't always say things that are pleasant and inspirational. They say things that are truthful. And it's not easy being a leader. It's actually really hard because you have to be brave enough to be able to step up and say things that not everybody is going to agree with. As a leader, we are giving others permission to take their own risks and embrace their authenticity. And the beauty of it is, when you inspire people through your marketing, you attract not only customers, but a community, which is the goal, right? A community of people who share your values, your vision, and your excitement for what's possible when we do things differently. And you're also showing them that it is safe to do things differently. Hey, look at me. I'm doing it. You can do it. It's safe to do it. The water's warm. Jump on in. And it can feel really scary when you're on the brink of starting something brand new and you have to get out there on a platform and share your voice in any capacity, whether it's via writing, via blogging, via Instagram, via podcast. It doesn't really matter. It's still scary and bold to share your voice. And if you're going to be brave enough to get up and do that, you want to be really clear and really concise and thought-provoking in what you're sharing. Because stepping into the coaching world and into any business is an act of courage. You're choosing to become a leader, a guide for others on their path of transformation. That's no small feat in and of itself. It means stepping into your own power, owning your unique gifts, your quirks, your perspectives, and owning them with conviction. Because conviction is the secret sauce to your confidence. And as a new coach, this is an opportunity to break free from any preconceived notions of what leadership should, quote, air quotes, look like. To redefine it on your terms. Because people, this is where I got tripped up for so long. People aren't looking for perfect coaches. They're looking for authentic, relatable, real humans who can lead from a place of their truth. One of the most powerful ways to step into your leadership as a coach is to embrace your unique quirks and your taboos. The parts of you that might feel like too much or not enough. These are those things that will set you apart and make you magnetic to the right people, to the right clients. Whether it's an unconventional coaching style, an unusual perspective, a topic that feels edgy, a topic that feels even a little scary to talk about. The more you embrace these unique aspects of yourself, the more you give others permission to do the same. Now, don't get me wrong. I have definitely had vulnerability hangovers. I have definitely overshared in certain regards and have felt a certain way about it afterwards or the next day. And those are learning experiences, right? It's not that I overshared where it was like detrimental, but it just felt very edgy and not normal to me. So sometimes when we get a little bit unfiltered, you're going to learn your limit and you're going to stretch your capacity to be able to see what feels right and what feels like a sweet spot and what feels edgy, what feels vulnerable, like all of that. You're going to find new edges for yourself in the best possible way. And here's the truth, what you may consider a flaw or something outside the norm, that might be the exact thing that inspires your client to work with you. When you show up authentically, your quirks, your weirdness, your humanness, it becomes relatable and you become more approachable. I am always drawn to coaches and leaders that feel comfortable in their own skin and that feel comfortable to be themselves. So I have 4 tips for you to start to think about what this looks like for yourself as you put yourself out there in the world. And this doesn't even have to be business related or coaching related. It can be just you as a human connecting with people and feeling okay with sharing who you are, right? As like friends on a friendship level. So first and foremost, the first tip I have is to take inventory of the people that you're attracted to. The podcasts you listen to, the media that you consume, the content you consume, look at the leaders and analyze what is it about them that draws you to them. And looking at it from this lens, what are their quirks? How are they showing their weird? How are they being taboo in any way? And how does that attract you to them? What do you like about that? Starting to analyze the people that you follow gives you clues as to the things that you feel within yourself that you maybe hold back. So that's the first thing, and that's an easy one to just like scroll and look and see an inventory and like take that inventory. The second tip to embrace this is to get clear on what makes you different and to own it. What are the topics? What are the opinions? What are the methods that you're passionate about? Even if it goes against the grain. Those are your superpowers, okay? Number 3, share your story. Share your story, and I mean like the raw, unfiltered version. And I remember in the beginning stages of my business thinking, my story, I don't have a story. I don't know what my story is. And it took me a long time to figure out what is my story and what is the unfiltered version of it. And what do I feel comfortable sharing that I know is relatable to others, but is also safe for me. Because your journey to becoming a coach has value. Your journey to becoming the entrepreneur you are has value. The leader that you are, the person that you are. And people will connect with those parts of your story that resonate with their own. We're mirrors for each other. So start sharing your story. It's a practice. And so the first time I ever was like, I'm going to share my story, I told my story, the first story of my very first boyfriend who I fell in love with, who broke my heart. And it was a story of love and heartbreak, which everybody can relate to. But it was my version of the story, right? And that felt vulnerable and edgy at the time. And it had nothing to do with my business, really. I mean, I was a manifestation coach, but it wasn't super specific to anything I was selling. I was just practicing telling my story and having people relate with my values that they saw in the story. So that's tip number 2. Tip number 3. Tip number 4 is to be willing to talk about the taboo topics in your niche. So if you do have a specific niche, whether it's spirituality, money, sex, sexuality, sensuality, something else, don't shy away from what feels uncomfortable. Often the things that feel taboo are the ones that create the biggest breakthroughs for people and for yourself. For me, I always had a really hard time and taboo with talking about money and making money. And it's not really my style because I guess it still feels taboo to me. But when I got my dream car, which was a G-Wagon, it was my mom's car. It was my push present. I didn't share about it for a year on social media because I felt like it was too taboo. I didn't want to show off. I didn't want people to think, I don't know. I had like all these stories going on about it. And I shared about this in a previous episode. And I posted about it 1 year later. Like 1 year ago, I got my dream car and I told nobody. And that was my post. And I finally came out with a taboo topic that I was so afraid to share about. And I talked about shame. And I talked about judgment and rejection. And the things that I was afraid of that went along with that post and sharing that part of my life. And it resonated with a lot of people. People were like, oh my God, I've done this. And it inspired people to take action to share their big manifestations, things that have come to fruition for them that they've created. And there's nothing to feel shameful about that. It's inspiring. People want to see that. They want to be part of that journey. I don't know about you, but I don't want to hire someone who's so vanilla. I want to hire someone who's confident. I want to hire someone who's convicted. And if you are ready to take everything I'm saying to a whole nother level, I want to invite you to a brand new free training that I'm hosting. It's called Introducing, drumroll please, Confident Coach Era. And it's all about becoming the coach everyone wants to hire, being the in-demand coach. We'll dive into what it means to not just be a good coach, but to be a magnetic one, to allow your freak flags to fly and unique gifts to shine, and really what will set you apart to become the coach that everyone wants to hire and be part of their community. And as we've talked about, when you embrace your quirks, share your authentic story, lean into all those parts of yourself that might feel different, you create a powerful brand. And clients don't just look for cookie cutter coaches, right? They want that authenticity. And so if you've been holding back on sharing certain parts of yourself because you worry about being too much, this is your time to flip the narrative. We're doing this in Confident Coach Era Masterclass. I'm going to show you how to embrace who you are confidently with your authenticity and create coaching practices that feel aligned and powerful. We're going to step into our Confident Coach Era together. And I'm going to take you through the eras of my own business, from broke coach era to paid coach era to confident and convicted coach era, to become the go-to coach for your dream clients. So please join me. You're all invited to this transformational session and learn how to embody the leadership, confidence, and authority that's going to set you apart. This is your moment to unlock what's possible and take your coaching business and your presence to the next level. I will be hosting 3 live trainings in one powerful, jam-packed masterclass, and we start October 30th. October 30th, we're kicking off, so make sure to get yourself registered. I've got prizes, I've got giveaways. It's gonna be a freaking party, and you're gonna want to get your seat. It's completely free, but in order to register for the prizes and the giveaways and all that good stuff, you have to be signed up for Confident Coach Era. So the link is in the show notes. Get your seat right here, right now. I can't wait. It's going to be epic. You can also DM me, Confident Coach, and we will get you all set up. I hope you're having the best day. I'm sending you so much love. Find ways to embrace your quirks today. Become a little bit more unhinged and keeping the badass, deliberate creator of your life. Woo! We did some work today. Thank you so much for listening. You know I love my BAM fam. If this episode resonated with you, please share it with someone who you know would love it too, because we live for the ripple effect over here. And how can you best support the show? Make sure you're subscribed, hit the 5 stars, and leave a review on iTunes, and let me know how the podcast has impacted you.
I love being part of your real-time journey, so screenshot the episode and tag me and my guests on Instagram at Manifest with Ash. Now say it with me. I am my own power source. I am the master of my own energy, and I deserve everything that I desire. We don't just talk about it over here, we be about it. Now go get 'em.